What's up, everyone? It's your boy Norman Radd 89 here, bringing you another video. Today, catching up on a bunch of reviews. I've been watching films, like films from this year, films from last year, films from 10 years ago, 8 years ago, like all kinds of stuff. But I've been doing like a lot of my Arrow video collection stuff, and Resident Evil came out, San Diego Comic-Con happened, freaking Stranger Things, so there's been a lot of stuff going on. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be catching up on a lot of film reviews that I've seen recently, and today we're going to dive into a film that came out, I believe this was 2013, and it's called Under the Skin, starring Scarlett Johansson. This is an A24 film, and it's directed by Jonathan Glazer. And today we're going to be getting into some spoilers today, because this is a pretty old film, so if you haven't seen it, I recommend checking it out on Tubi. It's currently streaming there for free for like the next 4 or 5 days. I think it's currently on there, so you can go check that out. That is a free streaming service, and then come back so we can chat about it. Now let's get into this video. Roll it. So Under the Skin is an A24 film that I recently caught, and when you think A24 films, they are definitely films that you can, or that you have to give your full attention to. These are films that you really have to focus on. They're not films that you just put on for shits and gigs, you know what I mean? You really have to focus and find the meaning in them and pay attention to what the director or the writer is trying to get across in the film. So let's get into the story a little bit about this film, as Scarlett Johansson plays an alien who is under the skin disguised as a human, and she's luring men into a trap in this film, and that's basically the central plot of this film. Now let's get into the positives. So right off the bat, my key positive is Scarlett Johansson being, like, as an actress carrying this film, such a good job, and being the fact that she doesn't even say a lot in this movie. She does real true acting, using her mannerisms, using her face, everything, just her subtle movements. She does speak in this film, but it's very little talking, and it's just so well done, the way it's executed. And I love seeing her in this film, because this isn't a typical movie you see her in, you know? She's not, like, I'm not saying she does bad movies, it's just she usually does mainstream movies, romantic comedies, you know, Marvel stuff, like action-packed stuff, but this is a more underground indie type artsy film, and Scarlett Johansson, to lend her talent to this kind of film, it was pretty freaking awesome. Another thing about this movie is the score, the music. It's amazing. Takes you through the film and really submerses you in the experience, and especially when she's hunting her prey and trapping the men and like luring them in, man, the music that they play is really what takes you through this film, and it has an experience. Like, you can kind of probably listen to this movie. It's one of those movies you could probably just listen to the music and you can get it, the whole feel of it. You can get the tension and the emotions through just the music, and that's what I love about this movie. And especially having Scarlett Johansson as your lead actress luring men in, like, there's not too many men or women that I know that wouldn't not follow her into a dark room, like, because Scarlett Johansson's that hot. And like I said, she's such a great actress, so she was the perfect casting for this role. Another thing I loved about this movie is they really set the tone of feeling foreign. Like, you're following Scarlett Johansson's character, who is an alien in this film, and she's sitting in the van, kind of picking up these dudes, driving along, like, you know, kind of scoping and like looking at humanity and really observing everything. And you can feel the foreign nature to it. Like, as I'm watching it, it just feels like I'm not of this world while I'm watching it, and I love that. Like, it really does dive into humanity and beauty and have a lot to say about those topics. Even though it doesn't have a lot of words in this film, it's using the, you know, emotions, the vibes, the tones, and the imagery to really take you through this movie. And another thing I loved about this movie is it really makes you think. This is one of those movies, like I said, sometimes you don't like those kind of films, but this is one of those films that I really do enjoy, because it makes you think. It's one of those films that after you watch it, you want to keep talking about it, because you want to digest it more, you want to dissect it more. Like, as I'm talking about it right now, I want to watch this film again, because there's so much good imagery. And as I'm bringing up the imagery, the cinematography is top-notch in this film. There's so many shots in this movie, like 20 plus shots that are like art-worthy shots. I can see people sitting at an art gallery or like digesting, like over wine, what the imagery means. Like, that's how many shots are in this film. And, you know, as I was saying, like, it's a film that really makes you think, and you have to focus on it. And I love that aspect of it because it gets you talking and you want more out of it. Because sometimes there's films that are just cookie cutter, just basic formula stuff, and you go there and it just serves a certain need, but it's just a popcorn flick. It serves a certain need. And this is a movie that you really have to talk about, or it takes multiple watches to really dissect what your feelings are about this film. Well, let's get into talking about the mixed and negatives, because there are a few mixed and negatives with this movie, and one major one is it is a positive and negative, but the negative part is that this does require a lot of attention. This isn't a movie that you could throw on willy-nilly in the background while you're cleaning or watching your kids or doing something, you know what I mean, doing something else. You have to sit down and really watch this movie and digest it to feel the full effect of the film and really have just feel what the writer and director were trying to get across. It really just acquires that attention so you can honestly give a full opinion on it. Another thing about this film is it is only an hour and 44 minutes, but it does have a little bit of meandering going on in it. Like a little bit where it feels like a 2-hour movie, but it's not. It's an hour and 44 minutes, and I was like, damn, we can shave about 10 minutes off of this movie, but I'm like, that would put us in an hour and 34 minutes. I didn't even realize it after I watched it, but it feels like a 2-hour movie. It does. It just, the content and the gripping and the shots and the lingering images, it just feels like it's a longer film. So I was like, it just, some meandering within the film, but overall, I still freaking love this film. Had an amazing time, especially like the ending shot. When we get to the third act and we see the image of her, like her alien self staring at Scarlett Johansson, the human face, like it comes full circle for me. As I was watching this film, like the imagery, the themes, the messages, it just came full circle in that moment in the third act, in that shot when the alien self is looking at the Scarlett Johansson, like the skin after she pulls it off. I was like, damn, this is badass. This is in my top notch, probably top 5 A24 films that I've seen so far, for sure. So overall, in my book, Under the Skin is a badass film. I totally recommend checking it out and all that kind of stuff, especially, like, I might have given you spoilers, but if you've seen the film already, totally let me know in the comment section what you think of this film. I would love to hear from all of you. And Under the Skin, in my book, this film is going to get a 9 out of 10. This is totally up my alley of films that I would return to, that I love because it makes you think and dissect and want to learn more about it. The imagery, the acting, like just the tone of the film, it's so unique, and I love that aspect of this movie. Is there's really nothing that I've seen like this film, you know what I mean? There are films similar to it, films that try to tackle the same themes and the same messages, but the way this film does it, it totally pays off. And like I said, it well deserves, for me, in my book, that 9 out of 10. Thanks for sticking around with me all for this review of Under the Skin. And don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you're new to the channel, so you can see more videos like this. I'm going to be popping out, like I said, over the next couple weeks, more reviews for films that I've been checking out. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I finally caught M. Night Shyamalan's Old. Then there was some other films that I caught on Shudder, so I'm going to drop reviews for all those in the next coming weeks. So stay tuned to the channel. Have a safe and happy day, everyone. Peace out.